All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. As today we talk a little bit about a commentary by Colin Cowherd and Chris Sims, where they are just utterly confused. They don't know what they want to talk about. They don't know what point they want to make. They're all over the map. we will talk about it coming up next. We'll laugh about it coming up next. First, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. And they do run out. So get there early, get some brisket chili. Say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Krug sent you. Also, quick shout out to our sponsor, Mancini Sleep World. Their huge Memorial Day sale is live now through June the 9th. You can save up to $1,200 on select adjustable mattress sets. Plus, they're throwing an extra 10% if you're a Krug Show fan. That's right. With the promo code Krug10 at checkout, you're going to save an additional 10%. Mancini's, I'm loving my Mancini's bed. If you're thinking about upgrading your bed, now's the time. Just make sure you jump on it before June the 9th. Make sure you use the code Krug10 at checkout at any of Mancini's locations or online at sleepworld.com. That's Krug10, Krug 10 at checkout. You'll save an additional 10%. Thanks to Mancini's for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. All right, two of my favorites to make fun of are Chris Sims and Colin Cowherd, because these guys are just all over the map. They kind of know. I mean, these guys, these guys have very successful careers, and so they kind of know what they're doing. Cowherd can, entertain with the best, but man, he's just all over the map in this commentary. He really should be going at John Lynch and trying to kind of, go at John Lynch, but he doesn't want to go at John Lynch because he likes John Lynch. These guys both love Kyle Shanahan. They both love John Lynch, but they want to go at the Niners, so they're just going to park their car in the corner of Brock and Purdy and just start complaining. Here they are complaining about Brock Purdy. We'll play this for you. We'll share the screen and play this little ditty for you, and then we'll comment on it. Here it is. Here's a little Colin Cowherd and then Chris Sims talking Brock Purdy. Here we go.
It's the Brock Purdy contract is interesting. So I was not a fan of the Dak contract. And I wasn't a fan of the Tua contract, and I think I've been validated. I think Purdy is the NFC Tua. We got injuries. Arm's okay, not great. There have been, against playoff teams sometimes, he looks like he needs a lot of help, either coaching or players. I don't think it's an egregious contract, okay? Because if you start really breaking down the numbers, it's not $58 million. It's not Dax. But no. I do think here's the problem, though, Chris, and we all love John Lynch. They're missing on too many draft picks. So they have to pay McCaffrey, Kittle, and Warner, linebacker, tight end, running back, top of the market. Those are usually positions. The Rams don't pay any of those positions, right? Who won the division. So my take is the combination of missing on a lot of draft picks, also gave up 3 for Trey Lance, and a B quarterback paid closer to an A. I think what it makes San Francisco, like Dallas, is dangerously top heavy. And that's my take. They'll be a good team, but they're a Trent Williams knee sprain from being a bad team.
No, I hear you there. And I think they're in the process of transitioning away from that. Right, I think that's the big thing. That's why Javon Hargrave's not there anymore. That's why they didn't sign Dre Greenlaw back. There's been some other guys that they have let go, throughout the years, or Eric Armstead before last year, because I think they realized how top heavy they were. I mean, you were paying Brandon Ayuk, like you said. You're paying Deebo Samuel. You're paying Kittle like a top guy. McCaffrey, the top running back, the top left tackle, one of the top D tackles, the top D end, the top middle linebacker, right? So, yeah, I think they're in the process of, listening to what you're saying and going, wait, we got to spread the wealth here. We got to build a little more depth on their football team. But yet within that, they're not ready to give up on some of these guys. Kittle's still really damn good, right? Fred Warner's still the best middle linebacker in the game. McCaffrey's good. But also, I think within the Purdy contract, I agree with a lot of what you said there. Okay, I like Brock Purdy a lot. Is he the type of guy, though, that I look at and go, oh, he can carry the team through injuries or a bad spot? No. I mean, we're talking about a guy that just lost 8 out of his last 9 games of the season last year, was 6-11 as a QB starter, and of course they didn't go to the playoffs. It's rare in that fact just at all that we're talking about a big contract like this off of that type of year. So that's strange in itself, right? I'm with you in that it's not as egregious as Dak. I mean, Dak's the highest paid quarterback in football, and I would say Dak is not one of the 10 best quarterbacks in football. So that's egregiously bad. What you're pointing with Tua, you can't be the highest paid guy on your team, and then in every big game, you're the main question about whether you can perform, right? That, to me, is a bad contract. Now, Brock Purdy doesn't quite get to that category.
He doesn't.
Yes, I think we wonder how much is Shanahan and how great he makes quarterbacks look all the time and how much is him. And that's where he's got to prove, I think, you and me wrong in that department, because I think we think it's more Shanahan right now than the other way around.
All right. These guys are just all over the map. All over the map. All right. So what are we talking about here? I mean, what is the point? What is the point of this thing? Let's start with Cowherd. He starts with this conversation. I'm not a fan of the Purdy contract. All right. You're not a fan of the Purdy contract? Then tell us why. Does he say why? No. He does not. He didn't point to one single thing in the contract that he doesn't like. He's had injuries. He's had injuries? What are we talking about? He had one freak injury in the NFC Championship game against Philadelphia where his elbow got ripped out. Other than that, what are we talking about? This guy's missed 2 starts in 3 seasons. He has started 31 games over the last 2 seasons. Let's go back and review this guy's career. He never missed time, hardly ever, I believe, at Iowa State. And then with the Niners, he came off the bench in week 13 and played the rest of the year until he got knocked out in the Philly game. Then he came out the next year, played the full year, led them to the Super Bowl, came out this last year, and may have had some injuries. Everybody's a little dinged up, especially behind a not a great line, a trying year, lots of injuries to the roster, but he still made 15 starts. I mean, what? He's had a lot of injuries. I'm not a fan of the Purdy contract. He's had a lot of injuries. Once again, fellas, he's missed 2 starts in 3 seasons. He hasn't had a lot of injuries for the most part. His arm is okay, not great. Okay, how long are we going to go with that? This guy leads the NFL in yards per attempt. This guy's driving the ball down the field without the luxury of having big speed receivers. So the guy's got enough arm. I think it's been proven at this point. That's a tired old thing to say, oh, he doesn't have the arm strength. Brock Purdy does have the arm strength. He's got requisite arm strength to compete in the NFL. The arm's fine. Is it great? No, but it's fine. It's requisite. And then this was the other one. This is the other Cowherd thing that he came up. Against playoff teams, he looks like he needs a lot of help. What? What does that even mean? Everybody needs a lot of help. Brock Purdy's career record is 23-13. You go delineate which of those are against playoff teams and which of those are against non-playoff teams. That's a pretty freaking good record, 23-13. Oh, and by the way, in the playoffs, 4-2 with 17 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Against playoff teams, he looks like he needs a lot of help. Against playoff teams, it looks like he's kicking ass. He's 4-2 with 17 touchdowns and 3 interceptions in the playoffs. Those we know are against playoff teams. My guess is he's got a pretty good record overall against playoff teams. But 4-2 in the playoffs, 23-13 career. Then he goes on to say, I don't think it's an egregious contract. Why are you saying that? Because it's a great contract. The guy's making $53 million. The Niners figured out a way to get Brock paid up front, but to lay the balance of the payments on the back end and to give themselves flexibility to get out in the middle. How are you going to rip this deal? I don't think it's an egregious contract. You're an idiot. It's a phenomenal contract. But the problem is, and then he gets into the problem. Now, so first it's like this filibuster on Brock's not good enough with just the weakest arguments that you can possibly come up with. And then then we get to the real brass tacks. But the problem is San Francisco is missing out on too many draft picks. So now they have to pay guys like CMC and Kittle and Fred Warner top of the market money. What are we even talking about? Now, that right there, that could have been the focus of the video. The 49ers aren't good enough, according to Colin Cowherd and Chris Sims, because John Lynch has missed on too many draft choices. If they wanted to devote this video to making that point, you could have made that point, and it's a very compelling point, and it's a damning point at this point, with lots and lots of information to support the fact that John Lynch hasn't been good enough. But then you're going to turn around and say, and then they're forced to pay CMC, Kittle, and Warner. So what? Should the Niners have kissed off the best running back, the best tight end, and the best linebacker in the game that they either drafted or developed or traded for? They should just not pay their top players. I mean, what are we even talking about? That's the best running back, the best tight end, and the best linebacker in the game. And now you're going to bang on the Niners and say the real problem with the Niners is they're paying the best tight end, the best running back, and the best linebacker in the game. Oh, the Rams don't pay those positions, and the Rams are the division champion. All right, it's 1 year. It's 1 year. Missing, and then he goes missing on a lot of draft picks, and paying a B quarterback like an A quarterback is the issue. Well, missing on a lot of draft picks, from last I checked, has nothing to do with Brock Purdy. Why are you blaming Brock Purdy for the demise of the Niners when basically you're saying that they've missed on a lot of draft picks? That's not his job. He doesn't draft. Missing on a lot of draft picks is not a reason to take drive-bys on Brock Purdy. Paying a B quarterback like an A quarterback, okay, so save this energy for the rest of the guys making big money. To me, we can go through stats, and I can quote stats all day and all night. We can talk about this stat and that stat. But the bottom line is, how do you judge any of these guys? To me, it's, do you win in the playoffs? So Dak makes the most. He's 2-5 in the playoffs. Jordan Love makes a ton. He's 1-2 in the playoffs. Tua's making 50 some odd million. He's never won a playoff game. Jared Goff is making 50 some odd million. He's sub 500 in the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence has making $55 million or whatever. He's got one playoff win and one playoff loss. Lamar Jackson is making 50 something million dollars. He's sub 500 in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts is making $50 million. He was 2-3 going into the playoffs last year. Now he's 6-3. So the only guys who are getting paid north of $50 million, who have been good in the playoffs, are now Jalen Hurts, who's 6-3, Josh Allen, who's 7-6, Joe Burrow, who's 5-2, and Brock freaking Purdy, who's 4-2 in the playoffs with 17 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So, and then Cowherd's final point is, the Niners' depth isn't great, and they're top heavy. They're a good team that's a Trent Williams knee injury away from being a bad team. Well, that's tired as well. So you telling me that Green Bay's awesome if you took away Josh Jacobs? Houston's not going to miss a beat if they lost Will Anderson. Baltimore's absolutely the same team if Derrick Henry goes down and they're handing the ball to Justice Hill instead. Oh, yeah, but they're the same team. Chris Jones goes down and Kansas City doesn't miss a beat. Philly could lose Jalen Carter and they're just invincible. Minnesota could have Justin Jefferson go down and they're the same team. The Rams could lose Puka Nacua and not miss a beat. The Lions could lose Aiden Hutch. Do you see where I'm going with this? Everybody's got somebody that they can't lose. Everybody. And yes, for the 49ers, that guy is Trent Williams, especially this year. But that, they're a top-heavy team. They're a good team. They're a good team that's a Trent Williams knee injury away from being a bad team. Well, guess what? If you take away the guys that I just named on those teams are probably not that great either. So, I generally agree with Cowherd's point, which is John Lynch has missed on a lot of draft choices, and it's caught up to the Niners. Make that point. I don't know why you need to drag Brock Purdy into this, or is he in this thing just for clicks? I mean, what's the purpose of this entire commentary? I'm not a fan of the Purdy contract, but the contract's totally favorable. The only thing you don't like is he's had injuries, and he really hasn't. You cited his arm strength, which is the oldest thing ever, and then said something again. He's not good against playoff teams when he's one of the only quarterbacks making north of $50 million who's actually been good in the playoffs. So that's the whole Cowherd side of it. Then there's Sims, and Sims is a true lightweight. I mean, Sims, was born in the lucky gene pool. His dad played in the NFL. He had good size. He played at Texas, got a cup of coffee in the NFL, and now he's milking it. He says absolutely nothing. He has absolutely nothing to contribute in this video. Back to Purdy. Can he carry the team? It's like, what? Could Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in this era, carry Kansas City to a Super Bowl victory over Philadelphia? No, it's a team sport. Even the greatest quarterback, if, going against a team that's far greater, the team is going to win over the individual. So can Brock Purdy carry the Niners? No, he can't. But what does that mean? I mean, is Trevor Lawrence carrying his team? Is Jared Goff carrying his team? Is Tua Tagovailoa carrying his team? Is Dak Prescott carrying his team? I mean, seriously, outside of Jalen Hurts is not carrying the Eagles. So outside of Lamar, who's spectacular, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, those are really the only guys that absolutely consistently carry their team. Only one of them's got a ring. Okay, so these awesome, these classic Avengers in the world of NFL quarterbacks. There's 4 or 5 guys who can carry the team. Only one of them's got a ring. It's really hard to do. And then Sims comes back with, and we wonder how much of it's Shanahan. I mean, it's just like, how tired is that? And so now, instead of critiquing, Shanahan, let's just say, one more on Purdy, and we don't really know how good he is because we think Shanahan walks on water, and he's, blessed, and his proximity to the great Shanahan. I mean, these guys are so lost. Are you trying to suck up to Shanahan? Are you trying to critique Lynch? Or are we just trying to think of anything that we can do to talk about the Niners and Brock Purdy? And this is what we wound up with. That was a train wreck video. Hopefully this one wasn't nearly as much a train wreck. Give me your thoughts in the comments below. Sims has nothing to add. Cowherd's got an axe to grind. And both these guys in this video were particularly weak. Tell me what you think. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle. Thanks to Mancini's. Thanks to all of you for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.